Well, that is a nice copper coin, but oh, Doug, do you know what time it is?
45 up.
Who says 45 up, Doug? It's quarter after. Who says 45 of, Doug? What's up, guys? Quarter Hoarder here. I'm glad everybody was able to join us this week. I apologize about last week. You know, when you do a live show, things happen. We had an emergency last minute. Going forward, I'm going to have a game plan. I'll probably have a video queued up if we have to cancel, so you at least know what's going on. So I apologize for leaving everybody in the lurch. You know, things happen. The regular Tuesday video, you know, they're scheduled. They're done days in advance. The live stuff, well, it's live. Let me get my glasses situated here. And I'm going to bring in some of the gang. Looks like I might have lost one of the gang. Hopefully they come back in. But I'm going to bring in, of course, Rich Van Winkle and our antiques expert, Lynn. Lynn, I get so many emails of when is Lynn going to get a nickname. And believe me, it's something I agonize over.
Nothing has had the right ring to it yet.
Well, see, here's my problem, and I'll let you in on a little secret. I wanted to have some sort of a nickname like Antique Lynn or like Old Stuff Lynn, but everything I think of, it makes it seem like you're old. So I'm like, that nickname stinks. Like I can't do that. So I've been struggling. Someone had in the comments this last video, Antiquitera Lynn or something like that, but
Yeah,
my tongue can't even make that sound.
No,
I got to be able to make that sound with my tongue.
You already have to say like 10 names sometimes.
I know. Well, I don't mind that. After a while, it just gets ingrained in your brain. Yeah. But I'm also going to bring in the hero of the farm field lately, Charlie, the Heritage Relic Hunter.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Charlie's been killing it lately. I mean, in the show tonight, you're going to see some of the magic that he's been doing. And coming up, Rich, I mean, he's like the David Copperfield of, he's pulling things out of the earth that shouldn't be in the earth.
It's amazing.
We'll hit them down the road, though. And of course, no live stream would be complete without Dog Tag Doug, Mexican Doug, Jane Fond Doug in the house. Looking good, Dougie.
Hey, I got some of my dog tags available.
I thought you were going for the Mr. T look, like Mr. D. Mr. D.
Mr. D.
Yeah.
I pity the doesn't find dog tags.
Yeah. By the way, I've got a good one for Lynn.
Uh-oh.
And it harkens back to the Gong Show days when they had Jean, the dancing machine. Well, she's Lynn Historian.
That's the best one that I thought of so far. I just think it could use a little bit of
pizzazz, yeah.
So
Historia Lynn.
Right.
Yeah.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Doug, I think you should make your neck necklace with all D buckles on it.
D-buckle.
You're the king of the
a
D-buckle.
brass bucket going to the recycle plant.
Before we jump into the show, I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. Well, not everyone, Doug, but I see NEPA History and Archaeology Search, Coils for Foil, Show Me Treasure, Bill Stewart, the 717 Detector, Marty Smith, Scott Curry, Marty Vistol's Digging with Marty, Rachel Johnson, Half Pint 1316, Bells, our good friend Bells is here.
Hey, Connie.
Kitty Lobo, Andrew T, Frederick Romano, Dirty Paws Detecting, Hillbilly Outdoors. It goes on and on and on, Doug. Rich, I can't see how many people are in.
We're at 254 right now.
254. Thank you. Ultimate Feinsbach, Eric. Of course, I want to thank the moderators we have tonight. I know Teresa, the treasure hunter, is here. I believe, Hollywood Joe, metal detecting, is here. So thank you. Those guys will help sort anything out. We've got a pretty good group, though, Doug. Usually not a lot of shenanigans. I like to think we're all kind of friends.
We're all well behaved.
I like to think so.
I think we're more trouble than they are.
Oh, and I'll give a quick shout out too, Doug. Show Me Treasure. I keep forgetting. Show Me Treasure is, I believe, Mitch, who is running the hunt
Mitch
in
Parks.
Missouri.
Mitch Parks.
Yeah, what's the name of the hunt? Something Pro-Am. Show me Pro-Am. I apologize, Mitch.
Something like that.
Mitch, if you put it in there, I forget the exact name, if that's even Mitch. But I
It's
saw
Mitch.
the thing. It reminded me of the Missouri hunt coming up in April. You know, the travel season's coming up. It should be a pretty good hunt. I'm excited about it.
Yes.
All right, Doug, let's bring up the meat and potatoes of the show here. Bloop. Now, the format that I try to do, and it's a work in progress, is it's an after show. So this show kind of goes over the last week or 2 weeks of videos with more in-depth information, some background stories, going over the finds, things we figured out, all sorts of stuff like that. So before we kick it off, I'm going to give a little background, and I talk a lot. If you guys need to say anything I'm forgetting, jump in. But the field that we've been at the last few weeks is a field that Doug knocked and got late last winter. I mean, when Doug got it, it was not only planted, but the crops were probably calf high. So we didn't have a lot of time when we got it. Now, the funny part about this place, when Doug got the house, he called me and said, Jay, I got a house. It's not real old, but it's in an old area. And I said, oh, well, how old is it? And Doug said 1950. Now, 1950 is not real old, but it is an old area, and it's a farm field. You never know. So I remember, and Rich, maybe I have it wrong, the other guys weren't real excited about going to a 1950s house.
That's like, it's right on the line, you know, like there might be silver dimes there might not be.
Right. No one's super stoked about a 1950s house. But me and Doug went, just Doug and I, and as soon as we pulled in and parked, and I opened the door, all over the ground was red brick. There was ironstone pottery, red ware. I saw napped jasper, and I said, "Oh, Doug, this is not 1950."
Okay.
Now the homeowner came out, the guy that owns all the property. We were talking to him, and he said, "Oh no, the house was built in 1850." Oh, there we go. That's something we can work with.
100 years better.
100 years better. But as it turns out, even though his house was built in 1850, there was a structure there 200 years before that. And we think it may have been some sort of a trading post. We're not really sure because we must have pulled, I don't even know, guys, 50 coppers, 200 or 300 buttons, all the hammered silver, the oldest stuff we've ever found, and in quantity. And it all stemmed from a house that Doug called and said it's from 1950. So that's the backstory of where we are. Let's jump in to the beginning of our first return trip after last winter, when we went in only 2 or 3 times and pulled 4 silver hammered cobs.
Hey, could I say something first?
Sure.
When we pulled up there, the farmer, the homeowner, property owner, told us specifically where to park. We parked, and it was just you and I. And we got out, and the first thing you said was, this place is going to be great. And we saw that one little spot where that structure had stood, and it was loaded with all the things you just explained. And 2 minutes, I get a 2-cent piece. And then all heck broke loose. And it was really, really great.
You're not kidding. I mean, talk about pulling into a spot with super low expectations and then just like awestruck, like to find our oldest coins ever, and then an older one, and then an older one.
And not just 1 or 2, they just kept coming.
Yeah. So let me start off a little precursor to kind of set the stage. So when we were out there last year, we started hunting Doug's 2-cent piece, different coins, and then out of nowhere, I pulled this monster. And when I pulled it out of the ground, Doug, I thought it was an embossed bottle cap. Like I didn't even think, like Cobb is not even on my mind. You know what I mean?
Right.
And after I saw the cross on the picture on the right, my heart just stopped. Like I didn't know what to think. My first reaction, once I realized what it was, is Doug's going to think I'm pulling a gag on him. You know what I mean? Like he ain't going to believe this.
Yep.
And then luckily, Doug, luckily for me, you pulled out that not long after.
Well, it was a week after.
Well,
actually.
our next trip, though.
Yes.
Mine was a 1666 King Charles II 1 real Spanish cob that was made in Bolivia, South America. Doug's was a 2 real 1679, also made down in Bolivia.
Polita.
And Polita. And the exciting thing is, I think I mentioned this before, when we found this, I didn't know a lot about them. So, man, I was reading everything I could. But Polita, which is this super high mountain in what's Bolivia today, South America, this city, which is one of the highest elevation cities in the world, Doug, I wrote it down. Hold on. 14,000 feet high.
Wow.
I mean, you think about like Denver that we always brag about, the Mile High City, 4 times higher than that elevation. And at the top of this mountain, they discover an enormous silver mine. Now, at the time, Spain, the conquistadors were over there, took over the area. So when they pulled this silver out of this mine 4 miles high, they would hammer the coin right at the top of the mountain, load them on mules, have to go down a mountain on muleback 4 miles until they reached the coast. Then they'd load them on Spanish galleons. They'd sail north to Panama. At the time the Panama Canal didn't exist. They have to unload the galleon, mule it across that couple of mile stretch to the East Coast, reload it on Spanish galleons, and then sailed off to Spain. And in all that mess, pirates, looters, thieves, all kinds of nonsense happened. And 4 of them, at least so far, ended up in this field up in, I'm not going to say where. So there's the story behind it. Let's see what else we got. So that's Doug's beautiful.
Yeah. Your face is great there, Doug.
One of my favorite thumbnails of Doug's, just happened to capture the action. Then Matt pulls this one out. This one was a little different. This was a Mexico City Charles II half real. No date on this. Each cob is weird shaped. They've been clipped. They're hammered. They're off center. So Doug and I got fortunate that we had the date on ours. Matt's still awesome, but no date on Matt's. And then finally, Rich got his cob. 4 guys go on the field, Doug, and each guy gets their own hammered cob. You couldn't have written it down better than that.
Nope.
So, now fast forward, after this, we had lost the field for the summer and all the fall because of the crops. Then we had to contend with the hunters. We got to let the hunters have their season. And then we finally get on after salivating for 9 months over this field. We finally get back on, and that's where we're going to pick it up today, Doug. The stage has been set. Let's see what we get.
Someone says you're hitting the mic, Jay.
What's that?
Someone says you're hitting your mic, and you're getting a lot of pops there. So.
Oh, am I hitting? Maybe I'll move it back a little bit. Or maybe I could just not be as loud. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Or swing your arms as much.
I'm worried that if I don't really talk loudly, they're not going to hear me, but that's probably ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. So our first trip back, Doug, to the Hammered COB Field was actually on this day. And if you remember, this day was actually Rich's birthday.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for all those birthday wishes.
Yeah, Rich had a ton of happy birthdays in the comments. Robert Stamps, Cobalt, for everybody and their mother. So thank you for pointing out Rich's birthday. And what a birthday start it was. And then we got a comment from Lori Preddy. Happy birthday, Rich. What's with the Santa hat? It was around Christmas time.
Yeah, it was a week and a half before Christmas.
Yeah. And I asked all the guys a couple times a year, I try to do we got to take a group photo for different goofy little advertising things. So I brought Santa hats to everybody. I think I have the picture here too, Rich, of everybody. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, here it comes.
There we go.
Yeah.
So that's the picture that I brought Santa hats for all of us. So after we took the picture and the rest of us all took the Santa hat off, I guess Rich's ears were cold.
It is chilly in the mornings.
Yeah, it was. And the farm fields are relentless. There's nothing to block the wind.
Yep.
So that's why he was wearing the Santa hat, because it's Christmas time. All right, next one here, Rich. We got
Hawaii in the house.
Who?
Hawaii.
The whole state is here?
Well, it's the big island. That's pretty much the whole state.
Okay. Oh, I see it. Dawn Wittenhagen. Hello, Dawn. I also see Jersey Ray Diggs is here.
Yes.
Slews in One. Love Jesus T. I can't read it. Chris Heimsoth, good buddy of mine.
Wayne Houlihan.
Jim Hunt. Doug Badenhop, who's probably the most popular Doug in the stream tonight. Robert Stamps. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. So next slide I have, Rich. And if you haven't noticed, I'll tell everyone who's in the chat, I'm trying to incorporate a lot of the video comments into the after show. So most of the clips you're going to see, the pictures are going to be based around a comment that I pulled. So it behooves people to comment, because there's a good chance I'm going to grab one and throw it in the after show, especially if it's funny or educational or funny
or stupid.
But she said, I could only imagine what people say when they drive by seeing a guy in a Santa hat metal detecting in a field. And she's right. And I have a little clip of how not only does Rich look like a psychopath with the hat on, but look at the way he digs this hole, Charlie. You ready?
He's plowing the field.
Watch how Rich digs this hole. Look at that. What is he doing?
He's going to bury a body or something.
That's what it looks like. It looks like a psycho with a Santa hat trying to bury a body as quick as he can.
I didn't feel like standing up to use my foot, so I was putting everything I had.
Oh, you sure were? I thought you were going to lift yourself up like Circus Soleil, you know what I mean, and balance on the shovel.
I ought to practice that.
Yeah,
now, I will say
him 3 yards. Hey, Wes Stringer's in.
What's that?
Wes Stringer.
Oh, Wes Stringer. Digging up the Carolinas. Dave Efren. Jay Diggs History. Thank you, everybody. Rich, how many people are in? I can't see the number.
We're at 386 now.
386. Thank you, everybody. Let me bring it on past this one. So now this crazy psychopath hole Rich was digging, he got something good out of it.
Yeah.
And he got, let's see here, he got this. Now, this is
the lemur in a basket, right?
It's the top of a two-piece button that now cleaned up better is clearly like a cat in a basket, which still is kind of crazy. But when it was dirty, I thought it was a lemur or a baboon. And I have a picture of it dirty, Rich, a side by side, just to show that I'm not crazy. All right, so there it is dirty.
Actually, I do see that now.
Tell me that's not a flying squirrel.
It does look like, it looks like the flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz.
Now keep in mind too, Rich, you're on your knees. I'm about 7'4", so I'm like way up trying to look down. I thought I saw a baboon or a flying squirrel. Doug, am I crazy?
Well, for saying you're 7'4", yeah.
With my boots on.
Yao Ming isn't even that tall.
With my boots on. This was the first. Turd Ferguson is in the chat. She sees a flying monkey. Doug, I say she because I found out that Turd Ferguson is a woman.
Wow.
Turd's been in every live stream so far. Turd, I think, is the one that was calling it the victory nickel.
Yes.
Is that right,
Yeah.
Rich?
Right.
I believe so.
Yeah. So Turd and Turd, we're still not calling it that. All right. So the first find of the day at this field of the 1600 Cobs, Rich pulls out this incredible flying monkey in a basket, a button. And then where am I at here? Oh, okay. But then your next one, we finally get on some old coins because Rich's next find is this beautiful King George II. Literally, Doug, right in the hot spot where we pulled the Cobs,
Like
the
where we
2-cent
parked
piece.
the very first couple times we went there.
Yeah, I mean, how was that missed? How was a big, giant,
Yes.
thick with detail, KG2 missed? You just never know sometimes.
It's a pretty nice detail though.
Yeah, I think I have a picture of the back. Big Wave Diggins said, I only hope someday to detect a farm field. Happy birthday, Rich. Hey, this is the time to go do it, Big Dave. They're going to be planting in about another month or so.
Yep.
So go get out there before this short window is gone.
Jason, when we got to that field, the first thing Rich told me was to go slow, go very slow where we're at, and dig everything, dig every signal.
Well, your stuff's coming up later, and that was good advice. What's weird about this is, before any of us dug the cob, like who would have known when a cob comes up,
Right.
and they're misshapen, they're small, but they come up kind of like a junky mid-tone, a tone that in a lot of places people might not dig. So in this field, we were not only digging every repeatable tone, but I was more excited about that 32 mid-tone than I was about a screaming high 50 high tone.
That's right.
Because as cool as like these large coppers are, we all wanted a hammered cob, we were all searching for mid-tones specifically.
Yeah. A solid 30s there is just as exciting as a 50. Maybe
more so.
Right. Yeah. We came to appreciate in that particular farm that 25 to 35, you could get a really nice button. So we were early on digging those low tones, and that's why you came up with the cob. And then, of course, we're all digging that 34, 32 in hope of the cob.
I won't say what they were, but then Jason later on digging 12s.
I dug. Rich, if it repeated, I didn't even look at the number. It didn't even matter.
But you found some good stuff at 12.
I did. I mean, and not only good stuff, but stuff that potential 1600s, early 1700s, because the metals they used back then, pewters, leads, a lot of stuff was made out of iron. You didn't have a lot of material over here. You're talking Jamestown stuff.
Yeah.
So those low numbers were the metals that were available. They didn't have brass, and they weren't making things out of silver over here yet. We were still trying to survive through the winter.
Yep.
Anyway, here's the back of your KG2, and in the video, I think I claimed it as being 1750. I didn't claim it. You brought it home, but
that's what it looked like.
I think it might be 1730.
Oh.
Now, KG2 spanned both those years, but I mean, either way, almost 300 years old. For the first coin back after 9 months, really, really got our juices flowing.
It was a great day.
All right, let me see here. Where am I at? All right, and then we got on some buckles. Now, buckles are one of those weird things where when we go out, usually I film maybe the first buckle that someone finds. And then after that, I don't really film buckles unless it's something unique, knee buckles, shoe buckles, but we might find 15, D buckles and we don't even bother filming them. This one I thought was pretty neat. And then when I got this almost right after it, you and Charlie also got a cool buckle. So I thought I would include them because I liked all three of them. There's Rich's, and Rich's was tiny. Was yours a knee buckle, Rich? I don't remember.
I'm not exactly sure. I guess it was, yeah. And I did I found one very, very similar. So it's definitely 1600s to 1700s.
The material just looks super cool. That patina it has.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
pewtery.
lead pewter. Yeah.
And then Charlie has a nice one in here too. I think his is next. There's Charlie's. Charlie's is a nice large knee buckle, fancy design on it. And I got a comment down below. UFO Pirate said, I hate that I scraped so many knee buckles and other buckles during my first couple of years hunting. Start of year 6, he just wanted the gold and silver. And I thought that was interesting, Doug, because I'm curious out of you guys. Now, maybe not Rich, but, you know, when I started metal detecting, you know, way back when I started getting serious about it, you know, maybe 9-10 years ago, I was doing it because I thought I was going to find cool, valuable things.
Yeah.
And then within the first year, what things were worth slowly didn't matter to me anymore. I wanted to just find old things.
And cool things.
And cool things. So I'm curious how many people started for that same reason, where you take up the hobby thinking you're going to find gold rings every day and you're going to be rich, but turns out you're just as happy about finding a button that's 200 years old.
It's funny, you're right, because I started detecting to find old things.
Well, you grew up,
I didn't even think about gold. I just wanted to find old, stuff that I saw in my house growing up.
Well, you grew up in that weird environment where, you know, your house is like a 1600s museum.
Yeah.
So I knew Rich from day one wanted the old stuff. Doug, when you first took it up, whenever that was, 1911, did you want old stuff or did you want valuable stuff?
I just wanted stuff. I didn't think of value. Of course, back when I first started, the equipment wasn't near what it is today. And we hunted parks and, schoolyards and things of that nature. If I was lucky, I'd get on some public property that had yet been detected, but that was in the early 70s. Now I just want to find some neat old stuff. I don't consider myself lucky enough to find anything valuable.
Well, I think a lot of us developed that over time. I'm talking just in the beginning. And then it's funny how a lot of detectorists, their perspective changes once they really dive in and see what the hobby, I don't want to say what it's about. There's plenty of people that do it still for the valuables, but it seems like our group is kind of doing it more for the old stuff, and value is not even really something we ever talk about. Very rarely.
Don't even take it into consideration.
Charlie, how about you? What reason did you start initially?
Well, I first started to detect to find survey pins on the family farm, but when I started finding these old coins, I didn't know they were, like a Drake bus. And,
you just stumbled across one while looking for property pins.
Right, that's right.
Oh my goodness!
And of course, you've been there at the family farm a few times.
Oh yeah.
But my first permission that I actually got to detect was a straight racetrack from like the 1800s. It was a racetrack that no one really knew about, and I found a lot of coins because they must have did some betting or whatever. And I actually got into the coins first because I kept finding these old coins.
Yeah, old coins are exciting because they're easy to identify. The dates written on them. Everyone can relate to an old coin. So old coins are definitely exciting, especially when you're new and don't know anything. Like, you might not know what a buggy brake is when you first start, but you're going to know what an old coin is.
Right.
So it is exciting. So yeah, I think a lot of people start off just like UFO Pirate did. And I always joke with my wife when I first bought my first expensive machine, 9 years ago, my justification to it, because I'm married, so you got to talk about big purchases, I said, hon, once I find my second gold ring, it pays for itself.
Yeah, right.
And I just found that second gold ring about a couple of weeks ago. It's been 10 years.
You know, Jason, you're saying about how we first started out. One of my first coins that I found when I started out was a 1793 half cent, Liberty Cap half cent.
Oh, they're super rare, Charlie.
One of the rarest coins around.
Super rare.
First coins I found detecting. I got pumped when I found that coin.
Yeah, I remember one side was in pretty good shape. One side was in terrible, terrible shape. But I think there's only like 1,000 or so known to still exist.
Right.
And they're out there, man. I mean, they're not common, but every hole you got a chance. And that's what really makes it exciting.
And like that was one of the first coins I found when I first started Detect. So what a way to start, it.
Yeah, you're ruined after that. All right, let me see. So let's move on from the buckle. I'm trying to look at my notes so I can see what's coming up here. Buckle. Oh, okay. All right. So after the buckles, then I got on my first coin, Rich. This was a KG2 farthing, which Rich's KG2 was a half penny. The farthing is a quarter of a penny, 1/4 of 1 cent. Crazy that was money back then, but it bought you something. So I got that. Roger Metcalf says a field that's clearly seen a lot of human activity in the past. You're not kidding, man. So that was a beauty there for me. And there's a picture of the back there. Sometimes they're hard to ID things. I'm a big fan of the side light where you shine that flashlight across the face of the coin and it throws up shadows. And you can see with that side light, or at least I can see Britannia's right leg. I could see, the shield. I could see part of the throne. Anyone out there, if you don't do the side light, you're really giving yourself a disservice. You'll see things that otherwise you'd never see.
It really does help a lot.
Oh, yeah. Now, we might go overkill with 5,000 lumens that we carry with our torches. But, you want to know what it is. You want to ID that thing, especially in the moment you're trying to make a video. I want to tell other people what it is. Not always easy. So after that, then I got a pretty cool one, Rich. So I broke this clip down a little bit. This is when I first pulled it out of the ground. Now, in this dirty state, before it was cleaned or anything, I thought it was going to be another KG2 half penny. I know you can't tell the size, but it's bigger than the farthing. And it looked like a left-facing bus. You can see the nose, sort of, if you know what to look for. So I thought I was going to have another one. Let me move this along here. All right, after I cleaned it, in the video, I even put up a picture of KG2, and you can see the back of the head is similar. I mean, the one I dug is really, really worn, so you always have to use a little imagination. But I can see the back of the head. I can see a little bit of the profile from the front of the face. I chalked it up as KG2 and just kind of forgot about it. And then I get this couple messages in the comments. This one from Team Steptoe. He says, "Hi from Scotland. The coin you found at the timestamp that I ID'd as a King George II Hibernia is actually a Scottish Bawbee sixpence of Charles II dating from the 1670s. Now, when I saw that, I was like, what the, I never heard of the coin before. Have you guys ever heard of a Scottish Bawbee?
No.
Doug?
Nope.
So I get this from Team Steptoe, and I'm intrigued, you know what I mean? But at the moment, I forget I was working or something, didn't really have a chance to jump in. So, and you can see right there, I put a picture of the King Charles II Bawbee, and you can see the head's kind of similar to a KG2 when it's super duper worn like that. So I thought, oh, there could be some real possibilities here. Here's a picture of the back of the coin. Now, I called it a Hibernia because I didn't see Britannia on the back, but I saw like something coming to a V. that I thought, oh, that must be a really worn harp,
Right.
where it's not a worn harp. It's actually a worn thistle branch. Is it
Ooh,
thistle,
yes.
Rich?
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Yep.
thistle branch. And that also lines up with this Charles II Balby.
That's so cool.
Well, not only is it cool, well, I'll get into it in a second. So, oh, and there's another picture of it fresh out of the ground where you can kind of see that right thistle branch before I brushed it. You know, once you know what it is, now your eyes know what to look for. Didn't think anything of it in the moment because I'd never heard of the coin. So I'm only looking for what my brain's familiar with. You know what I mean? But this field being so old, with the possibilities being so outrageous, that this coin wasn't even on my radar. Never heard of it before.
Never heard of it.
Oh, and then this was kind of funny, Doug. I threw this in. The 65 guy said, wow, what an obscure song reference. You know, sometimes I sing goofy songs, Doug, during the course of the show, if it pops in my brain, because my brain works weird. I'm going to play the song, Doug, and I want you to listen because I'm going to have you and Charlie venture a guess.
Okay.
From here, Jason, it looks like a harp from here.
Yeah. Oh, you can see it from your angle?
Yeah.
Let me see if I were to come over here, where your
I
angle.
I don't see.
From a distance, the ocean. You know that song? Who sang that song, Charlie?
I have no clue.
All right. Well, that was me talking then. Now I'm talking now.
clue.
Now, Doug, I'm going to give you some clues. I had a lot of people in the comments, for whatever reason, just jump in.
It was Bette Midler.
Michael Wasulik, thanks for always jumping in before I set the stage, Doug.
Oh, sorry.
Michael
I thought I was
Wasulik
on
says-
delay.
She says Bette Midler. Michael said Bette Midler sang the song. Mark Williams said Terry Nunn Berlin sang that song, Take My Breath Away. Wackadim said that song is by Enya. Then another Bette Midler from Deirdre Shaw. Another Take My Breath Away by Brando Magnifico, which name I love. I would have given that to Lynn if I thought of it first. Brando Magnifico.
Good name.
So, Doug, what is your guess on the song?
Well, the way you sang it, it had the tune that I remember Bette Midler singing it.
All right, so Doug's guess is Bette Midler. Charlie, do you venture a guess on that song?
I agree with Doug.
You agree with Doug?
Yeah.
Now,
Because
granted, I can't
Doug
really
knows-
carry a tune, so forgive me if it's out of pitch. Lynn, do you have a guess? Do you recognize the song?
No,
You don't recognize the song?
no. Well, I can't say I haven't heard the song. I just can't come up with who sang it.
All right, Rich, do you have a guess on the song?
It did sound like you were doing Bette Midler when you sang it.
In the chat, David thinks it's a Metallica cover. So you never know sometimes. I got Nirvana as a guess from Adrian Tucker. Rex Smith, I got some good ones. But I'm going to let you off the hook, Doug. I'm going to let you off the hook.
Okay.
And the winner is Bette Midler. Bette Midler. Little background on the song. Oh, Grandma's Kelly, Clean Life, Clean Living. Thank you very much, Grandma Kelly. Little background, Doug, on the song.
Mhm.
The song won a Grammy for Song of the Year back in 1991. Best song of the whole year, even though Lynn never heard of it.
Geez, I thought it was further back than that.
Now, 91.
Okay.
And what was interesting when I looked it up, because I don't know why I even bothered, the song was written by someone named Julie Gold, who writes songs just to sell them to popular artists. And Julie Gold lives in Havertown, Pennsylvania, in your backyard.
Really?
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, she probably made millions off that song. And she's local, Doug. You might bump into her at the Giant.
Maybe.
That's a funny joke because Rich and Doug bump into a couple of people that know who they are at the supermarket almost every time they go. What's her
Yeah.
name, Rich?
Michelle.
Michelle. So yeah, that's a pretty. So Bette Midler. I don't know why I'm even doing a little side thing on that.
That's okay.
I'm just trying to mix it up, Doug, because that's what the show's about. It's an after
Can
show.
you, Jason? Can you sing us another Bette Midler song?
Oh man, I know she was in that famous movie Hocus Pocus.
Ah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, I never really cared for it, but I know of the movie. I don't know. Now, I'm sure I know other Bette Midler songs, but maybe in the moment, I don't know that Bette Midler sings them. Do you know one, Rich?
No, I was just purposely trying to put you on the spot.
Oh, no, I don't care. Doug, you probably know another Bette Midler tune.
Off the top of my head, I don't.
Oh, look, in the chat, Doug, Ray McCormick, Gene Diggs History, and the 717 Detector all said
say that.
Wind Beneath My Wings.
Yes.
So thank you. That's one of the best things about the comments, Rich, is that whatever we don't know, the community as a whole knows, and they save our butts.
T. Murphy's right too. Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy.
Oh, that
one. I thought that was like from the 40s.
Well, the
It
original was by the not the Lennon sisters. What was the other sister?
The Andrew sisters.
Andrew sisters.
Yeah.
That was the first one.
All right. And then just to solve the mystery, the Terry Nunn Berlin didn't do From a Distance. They did Take My Breath Away. Remember that one, Doug?
Yeah.
Similar kind of a tune. And I think that was the confusion.
Yeah.
All right. Why did I waste 10 minutes on this? I don't know. Let's move on.
I don't know. Everybody seems to like it though.
Whatever. I don't know what I'm doing, Doug.
Yeah.
Did
415.
Did Led Zeppelin also do that song?
Well, I don't know. What did you say, Rich?
I said 415 in here now. Now 420.
415 people watching us talk about Bette Midler for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
There must be nothing else on TV. But to finish off this clip, there it is, Doug. My King Charles II Scottish 1 Bawbee. They made it 3 years, 1677 to 1679, which is my personal second oldest coin I've ever found, only after the cob that I found in the same field. Yep. How's that for crazy?
That's crazy.
I bet we probably never see another one of those.
No. I mean, just
if anyone ever dug that coin anywhere.
You know what? If they did, they probably did what I did and just chalked it up as a KG2 because coins that old, a lot of times they're mutilated. I mean, look at the one I dug on the left. You can barely make out a silhouette. You're probably just chalking that up to KG2 and going on your way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right, now let's move on here. I think I got one more little one before I go to the next clip. Yeah, I put this in only because Captain Flantastic or Flatastic asked why I switched to the small coil. I actually found that Bawbee with the small coil. And he's right. In the farm fields, we usually put on the biggest coils we have.
Right.
But if you saw the Santa picture where we parked, which is in the middle of what I'm going to say is the hot spot, there are these large solar panels. And I wanted to try to get around the legs of the solar panels. And you kind of need a small coil because those solar panels are made of all steel.
Yeah.
So I had to put a small one on to kind of fight around it. And then as I walk 10 feet away, I knock out this Bawbee.
Can you guys think about what's underneath that packed gravel that he put down?
Oh, and under the solar panels. And,
yeah.
we joked about all summer, like, farmers don't do deep plows anymore. They don't plow at all.
No.
They don't do anything. But
still,
I'm thinking like, geez, how much money can we combine and come up with and pay this guy to plow at least that little quarter football field section and bring up 400-year-old coins that are maybe out of reach?
Yeah.
I'd put in a good decent amount for that.
You offered $1.50.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, I'd even bring down my tractor and do it for free.
You would. Dog offered the guy a foot rub, but he wasn't interested.
Oh, by the way, going back to Bette Midler, Wind Beneath My Wings, there's a better version, if anyone wants to hear it, by Gary Morris from the 80s. Gary Morris, beautiful voice, was actually in Pirates of Penzance. Excellent voice. Google him or YouTube him, and you'll hear a really good rendition of "Wind Beneath My Wings."
Maybe we can have him come on as a surprise guest next stream, though.
Yeah, I'll give him a
Yeah,
call.
yeah, holler. I bet his schedule's pretty open.
Somebody wanted to know if I'm wearing pants.
We'll never know. It's a mystery.
No.
It's a mystery.
Ah,
I can't tell, but I'm not sure I want to know.
Your pants.
Let's all keep the skin covered for this episode. What do you think?
please.
Ugh.
All right, let's move on here because after this one is where some magic really starts to happen. All right, now I have a clip for this one. This is going to be a little video clip. I'm going to put this in full screen, and then I will come back with us after the clip plays. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, enjoy.
Yeah, it is.
Is it a real? Is it a?
It's off center on one side, really a lot.
Oh
And
my.
it was bringing up a 32.
And it's hold. It looks like too.
And there's it stamped on the other side.
This
It's
could
like
be.
a stamped Roman numeral or something.
This could be something awesome. Well, you said silver, and I'm thinking, oh, Charlie got a nice. rose
my
out there.
my sprayer just quit.
Yeah, that wasn't me, by the way.
Yeah,
That was
'cause I
Rich's
hitting
first-
the
It
coin.
hit the coin, Doug.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, I'm going to bring us back in and pause this. So, in retrospect, after I got that Balby, which became the sixth 1600s coin from that field, King Charles II, then Charlie pops this. Not only the seventh 1600s coin from that field, but the fifth silver hammered coin from that field. And that we were in that field probably for 40 minutes trying to figure out what it was, Googling it. I want to give a shout out to Seth, our buddy Seth, who helped us ID it because it's, these are so old, these English coins, we didn't know much about them at all. This one turned out to be a Charles II half groat, and it was the third issue. The first two issues were milled, and only the third issue was hammered. And in our research, it was the second to last coin that England ever hammered. In 1662, they got rid of hammered coins altogether and migrated 100% to milled coins. So, Charlie, what an amazing, spectacular coin there. How were you feeling when we figured out what that thing was?
I was like in awe. I was so excited. The biggest discussion once we kept looking at it, we were trying to figure if it was a hammered coin. And earlier in the day, you wished me luck trying to find a hammered coin because you guys already found hammered coins. So
Well, the weird part was, Charlie, is before you got there this day, we had only 4 guys that hunted the field. I mean, granted, Lynn was there, but she doesn't really detect. So only 4 detectorists. And each one of us found a silver hammered coin.
right.
So when you came, we kind of tongue-in-cheek said, all right, Charlie, every guy's found a hammered silver. And then wouldn't you know it, you get the 5th hammered silver.
Right.
And the oldest one of all of us, beating
Yeah.
out mine by like 4 years.
Right.
So
That rang up at 32. I was expecting a button, to be honest with
that's the magic number at that place.
Yeah.
That was the magic number.
you. And I couldn't find it right away. It was so tiny. It's like almost the size of a trime, I guess.
Yeah,
It was
a
so
little
tiny.
bit bigger, Charlie. Little
What-
bigger.
A little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And when you found that, you were kind of way out in the center of the field, and Doug and I were hugging the line of the house.
Yeah.
and you called and we were talking to the property owner, you probably waited a good 20 minutes for me to A, stop talking to the property owner, and then B, walk all the way out there. The anticipation, you must have been dying, waiting to know what it was.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you leaving it dirty so that we could share with everybody, the
Yeah.
initial excitement.
I was thinking some type of riel, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
First, that's
Well, when you see that shield on the back,
field. Yeah.
I instantly thought Riel also.
Can I interject something here?
Sure.
So everyone really has an appreciation of why we are finding these old coins and relics from the 1600s. The first people to, other than the Native Americans, to settle in this part of the state, and we were in Jersey, but the first settlers were from England, had been pushed here or escaped to here to escape religious persecution. They were Quakers, just as a lot of the greater Philadelphia area was established by Quaker communities. They brought things with them that they had used for years while they lived in England. Now they have it in their pockets in New Jersey. They work these fields. These fields are farm fields the same way they were back in the mid 1600s. And whatever they did and they had in their pocket was subject to being lost while they worked manually in the fields. We got lucky enough to get permission where they were dropping all kinds of coins and relics and buckles and buttons and what have you. So
yeah, if you're lucky enough to find what we call original earth, and it's getting harder and harder with, every time you turn your head, they build a new neighborhood, a new shopping center. So you got to kind of sometimes drive out of the way to these more desolate areas that are still have a lot of farmland. And, you got a good shot because back then everything was done by hand. You might have 15, 20 people in that field every single day, watering, harvesting, planting, weeding, tending to those crops, because if the crops failed, well, you got a big problem getting through the winter. So, and what I love about the farm fields is they did that for hundreds of years. And then around the 1920s or so, with the development of the gas-powered tractor, all those jobs were replaced by one machine. But what that means is around the 20s, now you went from all this activity in the farm field to really no activity in the farm field. So when we get on these farms, we usually find old coins, old buttons, and very little new stuff because there's no reason for people to be walking in these fields in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. We've been to this place maybe now a dozen times. I can only think of maybe 2 modern coins that we found. And by modern, I mean even like from the 50s forward, probably from hunters or maybe something like that. Yeah. So farm fields are really magical in that sense, at least around here, because you have old activity and then really no new activity. So everything you find has potential to be old more so than new. Got what I'm saying, Doug?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Let's move on from Charlie's. Well, I'm not moving on, but this was clearly the find of the day from Charlie. And I got a nice close-up of Charlie there, another picture of the half groat, and a couple of the comments. I like to include the comments in there. Cut Silver 3650, congrats on the hammered English. He's found nearly 24 cobs, but only 1 English. They are indeed rare. The Spanish cob was the money of the world. So the English ones were harder to find.
I'd like to know where he lives that he's finding 24 cobs.
He must live overseas because if he lives in Jersey, I'm going to camp out front of his house and follow.
Are they corn cobs?
Who knows? Let me see. There's a few comments I put in there because it was worth it. Peter Gavisser says, Charlie, you hammered it with the hammered silver. Got to get a good hammer joke in there.
Yeah, Charlie got hammered after he got home that night.
I'm sure he was really tickled pink. Long Island hardcore detectorist, way to go, Charlie. Hits the oldest coin found yet from that field. And he's right. Up to this point that the people have seen, but maybe older is yet to come. We'll have to see.
But you know what, Jason, I really appreciate you and Doug and Rich. You guys were actually encouraging me to, like I said, you guys said go slow, and dig everything, whatever. And you were wishing me well that day. And by the end of the day, I was going home with a hammered. It was just.
Hey,
knock it off, Charlie. All right.
It works out. I mean, with our group, we go out all year round. Yeah. Every season, all year round for years, and everyone has their day. You know what I mean? Like Doug found a monster 8 real gold ring. Charlie finds the hammered groat. Rich he has a great day every week. I find my good stuff. Like everybody has their day, and I like to think we're all truly happy for that person, because I like to think that regardless of who found it, we found it. You know what I mean? Even if I don't take it home.
We'll all get a turn.
Everyone gets a turn. Well, so I'm just as excited for Charlie than if I would have found it.
I like to say one thing, since we're talking about this past Saturday, I went out. I didn't find anything at all.
Nothing.
No, I found half a zinc, and that was it.
Wow.
Were you hunting in the 7-Eleven parking lot?
He got a cut Zinkin.
A cut Lincoln.
You would have got more if you held a cup in your hand and asked people for change when they walked out.
So it's not always glorious, but when the glorious day happens, it's so exciting.
You really appreciate them.
Yeah.
Rich is now driving to all the locations in a Brink truck.
All right, let me see what else we got here. I'm trying to get through at least this one. The coin Charlie gave us goosebumps. I love Mr. Half Groat. Congratulations. Lots of love for Charlie's groat.
Not deep groat, right?
This was funny, Doug. Unbelievable find. This is from Cheap Laugh Kennedy. He says, way to go to think that the dodo bird was still in existence.
Yes.
I looked it up, Doug, coincidentally, because I didn't, I don't know. I heard of that bird, but the last sighting in the world of a dodo bird was in 1662, the same year that this coin was made.
Oh, that's
yeah. Could you recognize a dodo bird if I were to show you a picture?
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, you could?
Sure. I would.
Huh. Did you have one as a kid?
I was one as a kid.
All right. So that was interesting. I think I got one more comment here. Bill 4572 says the groats go back to the 1400s. And then he said, there has to be a spot in that field that's holding the good stuff. What are you talking about, Bill? This is the good stuff.
Yeah, he's being tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Please.
Let me see. They went on and on. A lot of people scouting for history said that King Charles II is the king that gave Pennsylvania to William Penn. Did you know that, Charlie?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
It was a family debt.
Yeah. So there you go. You got that directly. You can thank the guy on your coin. You can thank him for finding it.
And I was named after King Charles.
Were you really?
Yeah, because my ancestral eighth great grandfather was a guard for King Charles. Remember that? I told you that once before.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Where am I at here? Okay, let's get through this. Still got more stuff. This is just from 2 weeks ago. I didn't even get to last week yet. All right. Now, after you found the groat and everything settled down, 20 minutes later, Charlie popped another old coin. Mo Parl You've Garage. I can't even pronounce that. Rich, what does that say?
Mopar
loves your garage.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. He says you got to send that coin to Emma on Oak Island for the X-ray machine. I've never seen Oak Island. Lynn, I know you're a fan. Did they use a machine?
Yeah, they have a person who analyzes stuff with all this sophisticated equipment.
Oh, well, we
Think
used our
about-
eyeballs and I figured out what it was. So how's that?
Think about LiDAR. It's like LiDAR for that coin.
Oh.
Mm.
Well, I use a slide flashlight and there it is. And it's a William III, which is the 7th 1600s coin from that field. It's really hard to see. And this was the best angle I could get from the video clip, but we were able to see it pretty well. You can see the ponytail. So you'll have to take my word for it. All right, let's see here. I got another video clip here. I thought this was kind of funny. I'm going to play this video in full screen, Doug. It's a little clip for everyone's amusement purposes. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember this.
this is funny.
I like a big piece of scrap.
It's been there is some aluminum in the field.
Not much.
No, not much.
So you got to dig.
And with the cobs in the field, it's worth it's worth chasing them.
Yeah.
Doug,
What?
it's not Pepsi Cola. It must be Sterling Cola.
No.
Doug,
Why?
look. That's not a bottle cap. How you gonna drink out of that? There's no hole for your mouth. Look, Doug.
I got to get my glasses
Yeah,
on. I don't
get your
see
glasses.
anything.
All right, Doug. So,
It even has
whoops, let me bring everybody in. Now, I'm not busting Doug's chops because we did find some aluminum scrap and that sure looked like junk. Turned out that was a piece of sterling. And Carmen Sussy was the first commenter to say that she thought that silver 804 on the bottom was from an old salt and pepper shaker, which I thought, let me look into that. I'm going to try to see if she's right. But then I got this email from Jim. I covered his last name up. He said that he knew exactly what it was, and he sent me a link, and that's the salt shaker that you found, Doug. You can see the bottom of it on the right, the same hallmark, the same sterling 804.
Yeah.
And that's what the salt shaker would have looked like on the left.
That's cool.
Yeah, probably like
yeah.
maybe like early Victorian period, Lynn. I'm thinking like maybe 1860s, 70s. What do you think?
Probably, that's a good guess.
She's our antiques expert, everybody, in case you don't know. That's Lynn.
Well, that's actually later Victorian. Victorian started in about 1840.
1880.
Was it that? Well, Queen Victoria reigned for like 70 years, didn't
Right.
she, or something
Yeah.
crazy?
Started 1840 up to, oh gosh, 1910 maybe.
Well, that was Doug Salt Shaker. I think we had a couple of funny comments because, it was kind of a funny scenario.
Well, I was about to throw it in my pouch where I keep all my trash and then empty at the end of the day. And that's when you came over and I
I happened to walk over at the right time.
It's a good thing. It may
Young
have
Bird
gotten
1000 said, even when it's trash, it turns out to be sterling. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. Let me see. Adam Zajac says, quick, everyone, check Doug's trash can. You never know sometimes.
I think at the end of every day, I should go through my pouch and look at everything very closely.
And that's a good photo of Doug's glasses too. The number 5 times strength.
Do you remember the day we hunted all day and I asked, I think Charlie was there. I know I asked Matt and Rich to look at a quarter that I had found that was covered with dirt.
I was there.
You were there, right, Charlie?
Yeah.
And I thought it was a quarter. I was just curious what the date was. So I gave it to Matt. Matt says, oh, that's a half penny or a half cent.
Half cent draped bust.
Drape bust. And then I cleaned it off, and sure enough, it wasn't a quarter. It was a drape bust half cent.
Well, that's why Doug, he doesn't bring his glasses into the field. So we try to say, come on, Doug, where's your glasses? Because, hey, we all need to wear glasses anymore. We're getting older.
Yeah.
And when you don't have your glasses on, he don't know what he's got.
Well, look how bad I look with the glasses on.
I think you look good. I think you look handsome.
Yeah. I want to look like Charlie.
Let me see. There was a couple other one. Mo Horde, in the video I said, Doug, you probably got 12 gold coins in your bag. Let me look through it. So Mo kind of quoted me there. Thank you, Mo. Scott Tellis said, your next quarter after show, you should have a what's in Doug's bag contest. Dump it out and see what's in there. We were actually going to do that. We haven't gotten around to it yet. We were going to purposely put one good thing in there and junk, dump it out, and see the first person that could recognize it. We might do it
next week.
Might do it in an upcoming episode. So
yeah.
You'll have to stay tuned and see. I like doing goofy games. And then Crazy Diggin'. It was interesting. He said, I wonder how many times we threw something out thinking it was trash. And I think that a lot too, Doug. I can remember one piece I found years ago that was, those Victorian hand mirrors that the ladies would wear,
right?
Where they'd look at themselves and, do whatever they do. Well, the whole back of this thing was this giant piece of silver. It was real thin. It was hammered design into it. Must have been like this big around. And I found it one day. It was all crumbled up, and I thought it was a thin piece of can. And I almost threw it away, but I decided to look at it, and I saw what looked like a flower. And then I opened it up and painstakingly flattened it out. And it's like a really giant piece of silver off the back of that hand thing. Yeah. And ever since then, I look at everything 2-3 times before I toss it. All right, let's see here. Oh, this was the end of the video. I thought this was kind of funny. I'm going to play this in full screen too, and then we're going to go on to Guess Lynn's Thing. All right, we're getting ready to roll out of here. It was a pretty good day. The sun's going down. The Cobb Field did not. Oh, Doug, you didn't see Charlie's group, did you? In fact, Charlie.
That looks like a half real.
Charlie, I'm giving you a new nickname today.
What is it?
Deep Throat.
Don't do that to me. It hurts my belly.
I thought that was really good. Lorraine Detectorist appreciated the deep throat joke. Let me see. There was a couple of them in here. Let me play this.
I wonder how many don't know what you're talking about.
Dan Andrew. Well, I'm not even gonna talk about it much. Dig Kid got it. Deep throat. Aaron Hancock got it. Rich is probably too young. Karen Jones said she took a drink of her beer and it came out her nose and she peed herself. I would not want to watch the episode at Karen's house. And then our friend KK Karen, anyone younger than 55 is probably not going to get that joke. I'm slightly under that, and I made the joke, so maybe your date's a little off.
Jason, take notice. I responded right away to that. You see, I took my hat off and I knew right away.
I had to cut the video up because it was kind of funny. All right, let me get rid of this. We're going to jump into the first of the the only game I really have, because we're doing 2 videos because I missed last week, so it's going to be kind of long. We've already been going an hour. I'm going to try to fly through the second one, but I'd like to do a little game. I do want to say hello in the comments. I mean, in the chat. Hit the mark. High Tones Drifter Kent is there. Wes Stringer I saw earlier. Dangus Squat Burger. I like that name, Lynn. That could have been yours too.
Oh, no thanks.
Mark Taylor, Jeff Provost, Life is Good, Enjoy Every Day, J&M Muddy Mangateers, K in Maine, a name I recognize from a long time ago. K in Maine is letting the cat out of the bag of what the reference was. Chris O'Brien, Out West Detecting, Jim Hunt, Clem Fandango, Bob Cook, Stuck in Trees, Rachel Johnson, Metal Detecting Adventure Time, Dawn Whittinghagen. It goes on and on and on. Rich, how many do we have in here while I'm queuing up the game?
403.
403. It's my luck. Doug, you should play that number tomorrow.
I can lose with that just as easy as any other number.
That's true. All right, let me cue it up, Doug. If you're new to the stream, we play this game called Guess Lynn's Thing. And the first person that guesses it wins a Quarter Hoarder hat shipped out to your name. So here's how it works. We have a photo of something from Lynn's incredible antique collection that I'm going to throw up on the screen. The first person that can type in the chat what it is, they win. Now, I'm going to preface this week's one by saying when you first see it, you're going to try to blurt out a very generic answer, and I can't accept it.
Right.
It's a very specific name that I need. So you got to put the specific name in. Is that fair to say, Lynn?
Yeah, there may be two names that might be acceptable.
Nope, only one, Lynn. Don't confuse the game.
Okay.
I already put it all together. Only the first name he told me. Rich and I looked it up. We verified that is the actual name. I found it in book references.
Okay.
Only one name's accepted. So no victory nickel this time. It's got to be the name that you see at the end of the picture is the only name accepted. Is that fair?
Okay.
As long as we put it out there. So I'm going to play this in full screen so everyone can see it. Doug and Charlie, if you think you know what it is, don't blurt it out because I don't want you to ruin it. Let's see if people can get it. Here we go. One of our favorite live stream games. Winner gets the Quarter Hoarder hat. Here we go.
I did look it up, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I really should do a little song for the Guess Lynn's Thing. Rich, you're going to sing it this weekend.
I think you need to sing it.
All right, there it is. Look it over. Get your guesses in. I'll have a few pictures coming up if one doesn't do it justice.
That's the bottom.
All right, I see some guesses coming in. It's got to be very specific. I don't see it yet.
Not yet.
All right, I'm going to pause this picture because the next one is the actual winning one. Let me make sure I pause it. Okay. All right, Rich, I'm trying to look. Let me know if you see it come up.
I don't yet.
Richard B said old flip-flops. That does not count. Lynn, was that the other name you had?
It looks like it.
Great guess.
All right, I'm going to bring it back up. Wow, this is the longest it's gone so far.
Well, the other were too easy, so.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's going to instantly think shoes. You know, like that's the no-brainer part. But I'm looking for a specific word in front of shop. I see it.
Really?
I see it. I don't know if it's the first one.
Hold on, I didn't.
Dirt Digger Dave.
Oh, I do see it. And
Is that the first one, though?
Is that the same person?
I think it is the first one.
All right, I'm going to go look.
Yeah.
I think it's the first one. Hold on. How do I restart the chat here now? Oh, son of a gun. I'm going to play this through, Lynn, so they can see it at the end, and I'm going to show the blurb. Let me bring up the actual chat over here again so I can see it. They are called mud shoes is the answer. Mud shoes.
Or patents.
And, well, I'm not accepting that. Don't confuse the game.
That's the real name for them, though.
We looked it up. This is what we found online. According to the Collector's Encyclopedia of American Revolution, Newman, page 124, line 13, 17th century wood-carved shoe shaped with an iron ring on the bottom to secure front and back, tapered leather. These were worn by ladies to raise their shoes above the muddy streets. And this one I thought was really interesting. I didn't know this. It said the colonial streets were often graded low to hold water for fire emergencies. It was common in paintings to see village streets with a large puddle or small pond in the middle in case a fire broke out. Pretty interesting.
Huh.
So I'm going to go with mud shoe is the answer. That's all I'm going to take.
It was
Rich,
Dirt
what was
Digger Dave.
Dirt Digger Dave?
Yep.
All right, so listen, Dirt Digger Dave, I need you to get your prize. You have to put your zip code in the chat, just your zip code. And then you have to email me, quarterhoarder@yahoo.com, with your address. And as long as the zip code matches, you've got yourself a Quarter Hoarder hat. You're not getting Lynn's pair of mud
Yep,
shoes.
I have them right here.
Oh, you want to hold them up, Lynn?
The real things. Yep.
Now, do you have a date on yours, Lynn?
They were mainly used in the 16 and 1700s. So these are pretty early. I would say at least early 1700s, if not earlier.
Now, be honest, Lynn. Did you ever try them on and do a little clogging?
I didn't, but Rich did.
Okay. I could see Rich doing some old
They
clogging.
weren't very comfortable. I still have a splinter, actually.
All right, let me get past.
Chris Heimsoth wants to know, do we know the song "The Mud Beneath My Shoes"?
Sing it, Doug.
Yeah.
Doug's going to give us some obscure artist that sang that song in 1958. Who was it, Doug? Have him on the show.
Muddy Waters.
Muddy Waters?
What about Elvis?
All right, let's bring this back in. Holy cow, Doug, an hour and 15 minutes so far.
And nothing accomplished.
We're going to get in now to the next episode, which was last week's episode. I do the show bi-weekly, so it covers 2 weeks. This was after that trip where Charlie had the incredible Real, we went back again with our buddy Leroy. So this was our first return trip of the year. And man, somebody really killed it again. Let's kind of go over some of the highlights. Let me also scroll down here. Hold on. I got to setting this up here. I got to switch this so I can see. Let me go back. There we go. Okay. Ron Waldron said the return of the Hobgoblin. Now, Leroy's nickname is not Hobgoblin. It's the Fob Goblin. Doug, do you know why I nicknamed him the Fob Goblin?
Yeah, he found one watch fob.
5 years ago, I found one watch fob. I thought Fob Goblin was an awesomely funny name.
Yeah.
I never found another fob since. We might have to re-nickname him. But it was nice to see Leroy. We haven't seen him since North Carolina. We get together a couple times a year. Always good people.
Yeah.
Let's see what we all got at this field. So this was the first find of the day. This was from Rich. He called me over, and this is what he was showing me in the ground. And he's like, "What do you think this is?" And I thought it was a grub. I thought it was like a little.
That was fun.
What's that look like to you, Doug?
A bug.
Yeah. And Rich says, "No, that's not a bug. I think it's a sterling silver chain link." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" But, Rich is usually right, so.
I've looked at a lot of chain links.
Yeah. So I have a clip here. I'm going to play the clip. I got a lot of clips for this one because clips are more fun than just still photos, Doug.
Yeah.
So here's the clip as Rich started to clean this grub.
Rich, I got these new tools that might complement your brush. Ooh. Yeah, look, it's got like a flat, scrapey side on this side.
Oh,
And then
that's
a
cool.
curved, pointy thing for you to get dirt out of crevices. It's so cool. You care less about using it. It's like, that's great.
Yeah. Put it away.
So there's Rich Doug. Talk about the ultimate disrespect, Doug.
I would have used your tool if I wasn't already almost done cleaning it.
Like of all the things, Doug, like he's trying to clean out the hole of a tiny thing, and I come up with him with the perfect pointy plastic thing. Totally
Clean the
blows me
hole
off.
out. Yeah.
It blows me off like a guy trying to pick up a girl at a dance hall.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, that gave me a bloody finger, that tool, when I reached in your bag for a brush.
Well, once you stabbed yourself with it, then I started carrying it pointy side down.
Yeah.
Well, that should be a lesson, though, Charlie. Never reach into another guy's bag. But Rich was right, Doug. That's what he found. It was a sterling silver chain link, and look at the design on it.
pretty nice.
There's
So-
no markings or anything. I really wish I think it's old though. I
Oh,
think it's
no doubt about it.
I
No-
absolutely
everything else
agree.
we've done.
yeah, no doubt about it. Super duper old. Somebody's texting me. I don't even know who it is. So yeah, that started off the day on the return trip. So excellent job there for Rich.
Thank you.
Let's see what we got next here. Melissa Crone said the new cleaning tool reminds me of the thing Tupperware used to sell for peeling oranges.
Right.
I put a picture of it up, Lynn. I'd never seen this tool, but you cook.
Well,
There it is.
we have one of those, although I can't say I've ever used it.
My tool is not for the Tupperware thing. And that picture from the Tupperware website, they clearly cut the peel first with a knife. I mean, at that point,
Yeah.
a Q-tip would have peeled it. That's cheating. So my tool is clearly better.
For sure.
All right, let's move on to Rich's bug. The next find was from Leroy, and he found this, and it's, once in a while, Rich, I get a real sense of pride when something totally dirty and disgusting comes before my eyes and I know what it is. Like you feel that, oh man, because in this hobby, you can find anything from any year, but I instantly recognize that as a, Doug, you remember what it is?
No.
Charlie?
A coin.
No, it's not a coin.
I forget what the actual name is, but it goes in the handle of a tool.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Saul. Yeah, it goes in
Saul.
Saul.
There it is. Yeah, it's a Saul medallion or a Saul button, and you can see the picture in the bottom left.
Yeah.
This is how, back then, they would show their craftsmanship, and that was
Right.
their little mark, to show what it was. Distin is a pretty famous Saul manufacturer in our area back then. And over the years, we found about 3 or 4 of these Saul medallions. Every one that we found has been Distin. And I have a picture, I think. Let me see.
Apparently, Distin wasn't great at fastening those to their saws.
Well, that's what I put a picture up because hey, this might help someone down the line who finds something. But you can see, let me see over here, what they would look like complete. And you can see they were held on the back end with a flat screw. Or if you see just the top piece, you might disregard this as like a collar disc pin or something. But they do kind of have a distinct look to them. So I thought it was interesting. Hey, it might help somebody out one day.
Jason, didn't you find something like that with the sewing machine one time, a medallion with a sewing machine?
Well, that was different. That was a larger piece. That was actually off of the tabletop from a tabletop sewing machine. And that one was the guy that invented the electric sewing machine. I forget his name now, but I know what you're talking about. It was a few years ago.
Right.
This thing is about the size of a quarter. That sewing machine thing I found was bigger than like a Morgan dollar, much, much larger.
Okay.
So cool thing there in the chat. I'm curious, and be honest. Would you have known that was a Saul medallion? I'm going to give him a second, Doug, because that's a tough one. If you've never found one, it's not something I only know because we found one before and I had to Google it and I remembered.
That's the only reason I knew.
Yeah, it's definitely not something I would have recognized. Margaret Furjet says yes. Adrian Tucker, no. Nick Huffaker, not a chance. That's honest. J&M Muddy Magneteers, probably not. No. A lot of no's. Gordon McCall says 100% yes. Bell's husband found
Looks
one.
like trash.
What's that?
Somebody says looks like trash.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's a treasure, but it's just real satisfying when you dig something up and you can ID it, because that's usually all we want. What is it? Because that'll eat at you forever if you can't figure out what it is.
David Cassidy said that he was from Philadelphia, the Henry Distin.
Oh yeah, he was a local guy. Yep.
Yeah, from Philadelphia. David Cassidy pointed that out.
Yeah. A lot of people, for the most part, it looks like most people would not know what it is. And like I said, we only knew because we found one before and had to reinvent the wheel and and try to figure it out.
Brent 207 says they thought it was a Colonial belly button cleaner.
It actually doubles as that. Remember how kind of like how Lynn's mud shoes are also, what'd you call them, Lynn?
Oh,
The P word.
oh, they're called patents, but
Patents, yeah.
patents is what we know them as.
Oh, well, patents didn't count if someone typed that in. But yeah, this is a Salt Medallion or Colonial belly button cleaner outer. All right, so let's move on.
I've seen mud shoes too.
I got another clip, Doug. I'm not going to go full screen on this one because it's not real long. This was a Leroy find. Always excited for Leroy.
Get that flip from me, Leroy.
Yeah. Something on
Yeah,
there.
is that Britannia? I see. That might be Britannia sideways.
That's just a shout out, Doug. That's a shout out to Sidelight. Without Sidelight, we would be hosed.
We'd be lost.
The Sidelight picked that up, and digging up the Carolinas, who I think is in the chat.
They were.
Sideways Britannia. What's she doing on that coin? But yeah, that Sidelight, man, it'll allow you to see things otherwise you'd never see.
Right.
I do have a picture of Leroy's coin. There's the back of it. KK Karen saying, nice to see Leroy. You guys were killing on the coppers, and man, we certainly were. You can clearly see the back of it in that picture with the Sidelight.
Right.
And then I think I have a photo of the front. Yep, there's the front. And that one, I believe, is a KG2, not a Scottish Bawbee.
Right.
Because the Bawbee doesn't have Britannia on the back. Remember, Doug?
Correct.
Pack that away in the old brain for future reference.
Right.
Or the Roman numeral 2 right there.
Well, that too. Come on, Rich. Give me some credit. All right, so good job to Leroy. Let's move on. The next find was from Dog Tag Doug, Mexican Doug, Jane Fond Doug. The old Doug. Tell him what it is, Doug.
It's an ox knob.
One of the smallest ones too. It's hard to tell for scale there.
It was small.
Yeah, I mean, you can see my pinky finger tip. It was way smaller than my pinky. It was for a tiny, tiny little ox.
A baby ox.
Yes.
I think we call it a guinea pig. A guinea pig one. We had a cool comment from, I don't know what his name was. It just user, blah, 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 blah. But, we said, you don't find a lot of modern ox knobs anymore. And he said that basically nowadays you cut the horns off and use a hot branding iron to cauterize the blood flow. So they don't use ox knobs anymore. I guess now they just cut them off, rather than screw the knobs in. So it makes sense.
Interestingly, I think everyone in our group has found multiple ox knobs, but we have yet in our area to find any ox shoes.
Yeah, I mean, none that we were able to definitively tell was an ox shoe.
Right.
Because they were iron, sometimes we might get a broken horseshoe, and when it's corroded and lumpy, hard to tell the difference. But it seems like as you get slightly more north, they find a lot more ox shoes than we do down here.
Right.
All right, let's move on from the ox knob. This was a little button I found. I normally would not have put it into the clip, but in the clip I said, oh, the way the shank's broken and made two little horns on it, I could have used your tiny ox knob so it didn't stab me in the finger.
Yeah.
But Doug would not part with the ox knob.
No. Actually, I did. I gave it to Charles, the homeowner on the other side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, then. This is one of our favorite games that we like to play a lot. We call it "What's in the Clump." If you've ever seen the video, every few weeks, when you're digging in farm fields and even yards, sometimes you'll get your signal in a wad of dirt, and you use the pin pointer so you know it's in there, but we don't know what it is. We just base on the signal it gave in hopes it'll be good, and we like to slowly keep breaking that wad down in hopes that something good comes out of it. Oftentimes, the what's in the clump ends up as junk, and they never see it. But once in a while, you get a good one, and this was a good one. I didn't do a clip on this because I thought we'd be going long by this time in the show. But this is what he got out of there. Believe it or not, that's a coin. It is large cent size. And I think I have a cleaned up photo of it there, which is, Doug, you know what that is?
It's facing right. I think it's a William.
It is a William. Another 1600s coin from this field. I think number 8. And I think for this one, I have a photo. Yeah. I have a photo of the back here. Again, with the side light. The back of the coin, obviously the one Doug is the second from the left. But you can see the arm up in the air like this, like she's making a muscle.
Right.
And I put the back of some other coins from that period that have Britannia, where you can see over the years her arm location changed. The William over here to the left has that arm in the upright position. This one over here on the far right is a KG3, where her arm is like outstretched with the feather duster. And then the KG1, the one second to the right, her arm's kind of down. So sometimes if you can get the side light to give just a tiny clue, even which position the arm is in, you can figure out what it is. And the name of the game really is just trying to get an ID. You know what I mean? It's never going to look good again, but you like to know what you find.
And again, the side light was all the difference in getting that little bit of Britannia that we could see.
Well, hey, shout out to side light.
Yep.
Jay, do you remember when I had that what's in the clump, when we got down to 2 small clumps and there happened to be a target in both of them?
Yeah. There was. What were they? Were they 2 buttons?
It was 2 pennies, I think.
They were modern pennies.
Yeah.
But that was the one time when we got it down so small, and then you broke it, and we would touch the pinpointer, and I heard it on one side, and then I heard it on the other side. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Kevin Williams says pocket tumbler. Charlie, we should have given you that coin. You could have carried around your pocket all day. Maybe it would look good.
Definitely, yep.
Oh, and Chris Heimsoff gave you a nickname, Lynn. Sidelight Lynn. What do you think? Lynn does hold the flashlight a lot.
Oh, I do.
Well, that's a good one, Chris. That's a contender. Sidelight Lynn. And Vonda Helton, I see in the chat. She came late, went to dinner. I hope you enjoyed your dinner. Patrick Parker, Bill Stewart, David, just David. Wow, he got that name.
Wow.
Ski Searcher. Everyone in there, thank you for coming in.
Somebody in the chat earlier said linear history. I thought that wasn't bad.
Ooh, that is pretty cool.
What is it?
Linear history.
Linear history. We're gonna have to write these down. We're gonna have to write them down.
Well, yeah.
I like Sidelight Lynn, even though it's kind of doesn't make any sense really.
It doesn't make any sense.
We would get it, we would get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I called Doug Mexican Doug for like the first year before we was Dog Tag Doug. No one knew what it meant.
Yeah.
Doug, did you ever tell anyone why you got the Mexican Doug nickname? You're obviously not Mexican.
I take a lot of siestas.
Well, that's true. That's true.
No. For a while there, I was finding a lot of silver that was marked Mexico.
Well, wait. You found one thing that was marked Mexican.
No.
I found a lot of it.
Well, one with you, I found 2 rings right up the street from my house that were both marked Mexico. And I suspect because of all the landscapers that are here from Mexico, they may have lost their rings. And well, the one that I found with you was a big honking sterling ring, if you remember.
Yeah, it was just marked Mexican silver.
No, marked Mexico, just
Mexico. Yeah, whatever it was. But that's how you became Mexican Doug until Dog Tag Doug took over.
Yeah.
All right, so there's Doug's our 8th 1600 coin from that field. Let's keep this rolling. I'm getting tired. I'm going to just kind of go through these fast forward a little bit because it's getting late. Leroy had the next coin. I put a little picture of it dirty there. I don't know. I don't think I was realizing how long this would go. But there's Leroy's. Can you make out what that is, Rich? Or Charlie, can you make out what that is?
I cannot.
Is
I
that
can
a?
see it.
Whoa.
I thought maybe did he get a half cent that day?
Well, this
Yeah,
is
that's a braided or a matron, right?
yeah, that's a matron he got. I don't know if you were able to see it from the photo. It's
I
rough.
did see that it's left facing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was Leroy. Yet another copper for Leroy.
Yeah, he did well that day.
Oh, he did really good. I mean, well, I don't want to ruin it yet, but there's the back of Leroy's matron. All right, then I gave the camera to Lynn for this one because I thought I had a really good signal. And when you get a really good signal that you think is going to be a big coin or a silver coin, we try to do a live dig. It's not always easy. Most of them don't work out, and I just delete it. But sometimes you get lucky, and this was a lucky one. I cut down to most of it because this live dig also became a what's in the clump. So I thought we would show this one live. What do you think, Lynn?
Okay.
Well, you don't have a choice. I'm just going to play it.
Yes.
Yes.
All right there, Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
You ready? I'm touching it.
I'm ready.
It's gonna be something good.
It's in the clump? Oh, no.
Yep.
Yeah,
Ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
That's smaller than I thought.
Oh.
Oh, wait, look.
okay.
I think it's half cent size. It's half cent size. Possible. It can't be a nickel. The number was too high. It's gonna be a half cent.
Oh,
Lynn.
nice.
Oh, let me see. Oh, I see detail.
Ooh.
Oh, great.
Let me brush it. 'Cause
Great.
if it's like a 1793 Liberty Cap half cent, I can definitely see something cool. It's gonna be something good.
Oh, awesome.
Let me brush.
Charlie, I was hoping that it was going to be that half cent you mentioned earlier, because every time we get a half cent, we were hoping it was going to be that one. It's not. It was a drape bust half cent. But it's nice when a live dig works out, especially when the live dig turns into a what's in the clump. All the stars aligned on that one.
You know what, Jake? You've been finding quite a few drape busts lately.
I want to say that the drape bust is probably the most common half cent that we find.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is, the Liberty Cap half cents, which came before it, were very short runs. Not a lot of them made. A pretty good amount of drape busts were made, even though they're really early, 1800s.
Right.
But as you get past that into the braided hairs and the matron half cents, a half cent wasn't worth as much. So they didn't make a lot of them. And a lot of the matron and braided hair half cents are actually real valuable because they made so few. So, and I could be wrong. I'd have to look at the mintage numbers offhand, but I think the drape busts, more of them were made, and they probably circulated in people's pockets for 70 years or so. People, those coins lasted much longer than coins do today because, people didn't really, there wasn't as many banks and stores and places to, exchange your money. So currency stayed in circulation for a long time.
Jason, Angela and Sean from New Jersey say hi.
Oh, Angela and Sean. Yeah, they're
they can't wait to meet the group.
Oh, I'm excited to meet them. Super nice people. I stopped by their house. We're going to be revisiting them soon enough. And when I went there, they have chickens, Rich. Angela gave me a dozen chickens. Now she has,
She gave you a dozen chickens.
Not a dozen chickens, a dozen chicken eggs. But because they were like free range and they ate natural bugs and stuff like that, they were the most delicious eggs I've ever had. I was so excited.
And they were harder to crack too, weren't they?
No, I didn't have any problem. I'm very strong, Rich. Very strong. I'm never buying store-bought eggs again. I'm going to go to local farmers because they really are so much better.
Well, Jason, those eggs are fresh. They're fresh too. Fresh eggs.
Fresh, and they were never in the refrigerator. You know, you
Right.
don't have to refrigerate eggs as long as you don't clean the disgusting chicken slime off. You know,
You'd be surprised how old the eggs are in a store. You'd be surprised.
Oh yeah, well, I know. So
Yeah.
no, thank you, Angela. They were delicious eggs. All right, let's move on. We're closing in, Doug. I can see Doug's falling asleep.
No, I'm
I'm gonna
not.
try to. What's that?
I'm not. I'm
Oh.
wide awake.
I'm going to try to
Just
fly through
waiting.
this. We're almost at the end here. Now, nearing the end of this is when Charlie went on his crazy streak. So I have a few clips here that will kind of line it up, and you can watch it as we kind of saw it. So let's just let the clip speak for itself.
So Doug, myself, and Lynn went back to the cars to get something to drink. We just came back out, and Charlie's got a hole here, a hole there, and a hole there.
That son of a
And
gun.
Rich is saying at least 2 of them are coppers, maybe all 3.
Maybe.
So what the heck, Charlie?
Back there. Back there. Back there. Oh, here. It's in here somewhere. Oh, I think I did see it. Maybe. No, underneath that.
Oh,
It is a copper.
it's small. If it is.
It,
It's a, what is that? It's a weird size.
It's in between a
Yeah.
it's a tweener.
sweetener.
Oh, no, that's a copper. Definitely. Look how pretty that bust is. Right there.
You see a bust?
Yeah, right there.
I don't see a bust. It doesn't feel like a copper.
It does feel thin.
It doesn't feel like you didn't even feel it.
Look at this part, Lynn. Your jacket
Okay.
strings look like Rich has a booger hanging from his nose.
They aren't jacket strings.
This was the first of Charlie's 1, 2, 3 coppers. He pulls out this one, which is it looks like a KG2. Was that a farthing, Charlie, or a full half cent? I don't remember.
I can't remember, to be honest, Jason. I
Must
should.
be nice that you find so many coppers you don't even remember.
I think that was a half.
I think it was a full half penny. Well, that was just the first one. Let's go through all 3 of these.
I remember the next two. I remember the other 2.
Number 2.
Here's the second one that he's got.
This one's even bigger. I'm gonna put this one here, Charlie.
Well, I was really excited.
This one even bigger, slightly bigger. What did you step in? Could this be a road, like you said?
Now look at this, Rich. I want you to pay. I think I might pause it here. I don't remember. Let me see. I'm going to pause it.
I don't want to rub it, but I definitely see a bust. I think this is a Liberty cap.
No way.
I think it's a Liberty cap. Oh, the head.
I paused it, Rich. Can you see that image in the center, Rich?
Yes.
It's a little dark. I don't know if you can see it.
It
Tell
looks
me
like
that
Santa.
doesn't look like a Liberty cap or a flowing hair. I mean, doesn't it?
It does. I see that on the left. There's that little sideways triangle.
No
I-
way.
I put a picture next to it coming up. Hold on.
Yeah.
All right, there it is. Now, I can clearly kind of see both of those in that coin that Charlie found. And I was totally wrong. I mean, it sure looked like one of those, but let's see what he really got out of it. Once we cleaned it, this is the coin he had, and I put that Liberty cap again where it's looking less
Still-
like a Liberty cap now.
Still does though.
Yeah. But then when you rotate it, we just had it rotated.
Boom.
And it is now the 9th 1600s coin from that field, another William III. Now, when I say 1600s coin, I think William III went up to like 1700 even, but we kind of throw it in that 1690s because most of them were from the 90s. So that one really fooled me because he was just, we were holding it sideways and didn't realize it. All right, so there's the first 2. I think he's got
Move over to the
one
third hole.
left from his 3 holes.
Oh, I see it. You son of a gun. There's 1. There's 2.
I see. That's big.
This is big and thick.
Ooh,
There's the third one he's got.
Jersey.
Another Jersey copper.
Yeah.
So Charlie, banging out 3 coins, 2 1700s coins, and a 1600 coin. 1, 2, 3. In the 20 minutes that we walked back, Doug, and got cookies from the car.
Yeah, they went to take a little break, and Charlie and I stayed out in the field, and I didn't even know this was happening until Charlie says, "Rich, you better come over here. I think I just dug 3 coppers." And
I mean,
I
from
said, "What?"
from the hammered silver he already found to these 3 to the wait till you see what's coming up in the next couple videos. It's like that field owes Charlie money, Rich. You know what I mean?
Well,
Charlie has just been on fire. Congratulations. I mean,
I think it's what we told him the first time about go slow and dig everything that you wouldn't normally dig. He just kept thinking about that. And it every time, not that we weren't all thinking about that, but
well, that's amazing.
Well,
Charlie still hasn't paid me for the lessons.
Well, Rich, did we talk about maybe that was a road there in that field?
it would make sense. It's between properties.
It's divided between 2 properties.
And there's also the water source back there. They could have been,
But this was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I think, when afterwards I had to leave.
Yeah, Charlie, after these, he left after this.
I had a family gathering.
And that's kind of where I stopped this video. And then we'll pick up the next video in the next live stream. And Charlie, when he saw the video, he called me and said, "Wow, you guys found all that after I left?"
Yeah.
Well, you started the ball rolling, Charlie.
Yeah, actually, I left. Yeah, I left, and I started getting phone call. I got a phone call from Rich after I left. About 5 minutes later, I got a phone call from Rich.
Well, Rich found a bucket lister, and I can't say enough how magical this field's been. And we've been on some really good fields in the past, but this is easily the best one we've ever been on.
I had a bucket handle. Does that come close?
There's the 3 coppers you found, Charlie.
Yeah.
Russ Harrison giving you some good luck. Feather Catcher giving you good luck. He said you should mark your holes with little flags. You'd find so much stuff. Jenny Walborn congratulating you. Charlie in the Copper Factory, she called you.
That's cute.
I
like that. I like that.
Yeah, that was a good one. The old Roald Dahl book. Scott Curry, did you check under where Charlie parked his truck when you left? No, we didn't. We should have did that, Rich.
That's right.
We should have, yeah. Again, the gravel road. There's got to be stuff.
Babuli asked if Charlie's still in timeout. No, we let him out of timeout. Somebody needed to find all this stuff going forward. And then I think I have one last one. I got one last clip, Doug. I'm going to go full screen, and then we're going to get ready to wrap this up. But here we go. Last clip of the thing. Self-explanatory.
The entire time we've been here, all these cobs and everything, we've had access to this field, everything you see. Now the field gets cut right in the middle, right about here.
At the
And then
demarcation
this is someone else's field.
behind me here. Yeah.
But while we were taking a lunch, Doug drove to that guy's house and got permission. So now we have both sides of the field.
And he told me his family has been here since the mid 1600s.
Oh my God, they must look terrible.
There's nothing better than making Doug smile. Look at that smile on Doug. There was a comment there. I missed what it was. I'll go back. Hold on. I'm going to go back and read it. Hold on. Back 7-7. Oh, she was just agreeing that the joke was funny. Thank you.
Yep. And your timing, you're very fast with it.
I'm very quick. There's not a lot of skills in life that I have, Rich, but I am quick-witted. I will accept that. So that's going to kind of end it. I show a little bit of a preview. After Charlie left, these were going to be addressed next live stream. But just to show what we found, to tickle the waters, first copper, second copper, There's a third copper. This is all after you left, Charlie. Fourth copper. That button that Doug could swim through the shank hole was so big. Leroy's Andrew Jackson presidential campaign button, amazing. Doug's flag of our union. If anyone tears down the flag, shoot him on the spot. The cool two-piece conductor button. I mean, Rich's cap bust half dime mega bucket lister for Rich.
Woo!
And then, of course, Rich with the jersey copper that was turned into a 4-hole hand drilled button.
That's one of my favorite finds.
It's everyone's favorite find. That and so much more. And that's just what people have seen so far. I'm telling you, I have 7 videos left from this field.
Just
and
this
it's
field.
not like garbage. I'm talking like mega amazing draw-jopping finds coming up. I'm super excited. But 2 weeks from now, on the next live show, I'm going to go over these plus everything else and some of the cool, witty comments, along with whatever happens in next Tuesday's video, which you guys will all see next Tuesday, I guess. Right?
Now, when is that?
let me run this out. Now, we're almost gone 2 hours. We're going to try to wrap this up. People got to work tomorrow, Rich. I do want to go back again to the chat real quick. T. Murphy, Michael Wasulik, Dawn Gets, Diana Reed, Tony Rags, Crazy Diggin, Hit the Mark, Audrey Girling House. Sorry if I got that wrong. Will He 47. That's cool. Nick Huffaker, Vonda, who I got earlier, Bob Cook, Smokin' Louie. There's Smokin' Louie. Earlier, I did see Just Silver Joe, our buddy Joe Holland, was in the chat. I missed him earlier. Someone was talking. Nick Shalino, Dangus Squat Burger again. I love saying Dangus Squat Burger. It sounds like something you'd eat, doesn't it? Like something.
Go
like
ahead.
a hamburger. Kitty LeBeau. Oh, Wicked Digger is here. My buddy Chris. That's all right, Chris. I do this. I picked a terrible day. It's a weekday. It's late at night. Thank you for showing up, though.
KK.
KK is here. I've showed a couple of things from KK. Love her. Gordon McCall, Brent 207, Green MTN 64, King Dig, Dirt Fisher Matt, Amanda Collins. It goes on and on and on. I can't believe this many people are still hanging after 2+ hours. But we are going to get ready to wrap this up. Oh, wow. 3 a.m. in Norway. John Tennyson. Wow. Thank you, John.
I've seen that name before.
We're going to get ready to wrap this up, Doug. I'm tired. It's been a long day for me. We're going to get some last words in so I can rest my voice for a second. Doug, you can go first. Give your overall thoughts on the field, your excitement level, all that stuff.
You guys said Charlie's out of timeout. I say he's still in timeout. That guy's he's hogging all the good stuff.
Oh, my goodness.
But of course, he's always welcome.
Charlie has been the man at this
tackle
field.
him the next time I see him finding something great.
Oh, yeah. It's been really exciting. Some things that I've never even seen before that I bet you there's a couple things coming up that I'm going to dare to say no one has seen before.
Nope. And we kind of laid the groundwork for how things got there. So keep that in mind when you see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost unfathomable.
It's unbelievable.
So and I don't want to go on about it, but Charlie's been the man. Charlie, without any spoilers, obviously, what are your thoughts on this field? Because every time you come, you're driving an hour and 40 minutes one way. So
and I don't mind.
Not committed.
And I don't mind driving that far. That place has been incredible. It's a dream come true for me to be able to detect at a place like that, and for you guys to get that permission. Thank you so much. It's been great for me. I know I've been having a lot of fun with you guys. So yeah.
And you're talking. I mean, it's not like we normally get slouch permissions either. I mean, we usually get something pretty good. I mean, we have good success.
We just never had anything this good.
No, nothing even close. And I mean, we go for the oldest properties we can think of. We're there all day long, 5 people hunting. We usually don't stop. So you're kind of putting yourself in a position to find some good things, but nothing like this in the quantity that I remember. And we've been doing this for years, Doug, years.
Yeah.
I know, Jason, you probably don't recall this, but last spring we were detecting nearby, and we were done at the end of the day, and we drove up that road, and you said to me, that's where we found the 4 cobs. That was last spring. And you said, next year we'll go back there and you can come with us. I remember going by that place.
Yeah.
In the spring after you guys already found your cobs.
Yeah. We went to another place down the street. And we didn't do nearly as good. I mean, we found a lot of stuff, but nothing old, really. Nothing really old.
And you said that I'd have the opportunity to go there with you guys when the soybean fields were harvested. And that's where we've been for the last, 9 weeks now?
Doug's regretting that invitation.
Yeah. I should have hopped that for myself.
After going there a dozen times, like you said, and it slowed down, but mentally it hasn't left me yet. I want to go back again.
Yeah, no, we were just talking about that today. That after your, counting last year and then this year, maybe I don't even know, 15 trips there, 15 trips of 6, 7 people from dawn till dusk. You start to you have a hard time finding signals. But the magic of this field is you just get one little signal, a junky midtone. It could be something that you're going to remember forever. It could be your oldest thing ever, because the potential is there. So it's really hard. Most of the fields we've done in the past that we've done well on, we walk away and go to the next one, knowing that there's probably stuff there, but we're on to the next one. But this one, we're having a hard time letting go, understandably so. So, Lynn, any last words for you? You were kind of quiet today.
It's just really been such a thrill to be there, to see so much of it come out of the ground. And I do have a special feeling for that area because I did used to live there, as you knew, for 10 years. And it's just
not at this farm, but a few miles down the street.
A few miles in the same township. Yeah. And it was always such a historic, special place. So it's been great.
And interestingly, her husband, who is not rich, by the way, taught school there in that area for a while.
And now the school's not even there.
It's not even there.
No.
Yeah. No, it's definitely an amazing place. And, I can't wait for everyone to see it as the new videos. I haven't even edited them yet. It takes forever, but they are coming. Rich, any of your last words before we wrap this up? It's been 2 hours.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's just that field has not left me mentally yet. I'm still thinking about it, and I wouldn't be surprised if after all these videos, people end up seeing more of it eventually.
No, I mean, I can't imagine when we're going to write it off for good, but it's been pretty exciting, a field of a lifetime, and I'm really happy to be able to share it with everybody in these upcoming weeks and months. So I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, Jay.
Yo.
Mike Sacramento, who I don't know if he's related to Bob Sacramento, says that he headbangs, he and his wife, to your theme song.
I was going to read it out loud when you saw it, because I saw it. Who's Bob Sacramento?
Oh, you're not a Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Bob Sacramento.
No, I don't think
He's
I know.
a friend of Bob.
I watched that show, but not religiously enough to, I guess, know the secondary characters. But I did see Michael Sacramando's comment. Thank you, Michael. It is a pretty head-banging song. That's why I cut it off early. And last shout out, roll call, Doug. I see Gordon McCall. I think I got him earlier. Greg Ball said, thanks for the show, guys. You are welcome. Thanks for watching. Dirty Boots NC. Any guess on why it's so productive? Yes. Go back and watch the beginning of the live stream. We talked about it for 20 minutes.
Original settlers. That's
Right,
right.
original settlers.
Original-
Wrap it up with that.
1677.
From England. Yeah.
Smoking Louie, however old a meteorite could be, that can be billions of years old, couldn't it, Rich?
The billions.
Yeah, I mean, we've never found one that I know of. Tracy Husinkveld, I just hope all your future permissions aren't a disappointment now. You're right, Tracy. We thought about that. Like I told Doug, when we move on to the next place, I'm going to have to retrain my mind because anything is going to be disappointing when in reality it's not, but because I'm going to be comparing it, we're going to struggle through that for sure.
Yeah, we just set the bar up too high there.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
John Edison says we should do Roanoke next. I'd be all,
if we can get on that,
I'd be all over it.
Yeah.
if we can get on it.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get out of here, Doug. Oh, Marcy M. I just saw Marcy also.
Hey, Marcy.
Very often.
Marcy.
Thank you to the moderators for hanging in there. Wicked Digger Chris, I know he's got to work tomorrow. Make sure you guys check out his channel. He's got an awesome detecting channel. Teresa, is it the treasure hunter or is it what is it?
The treasure hunter.
The treasure hunter, Teresa, and Joe Setti, Hollywood Joe. He probably passed out 45 minutes ago. It's really late.
Yeah.
Doug, Carly, Rich, Lynn, thank you guys for joining us. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks on the next live show. And hopefully they'll see us Tuesday on the next of the Cobb Field videos.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here, Dougie.
Thanks.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks for watching. Happy hunting. And
See
we'll
you
see
all.
you on the next one. Later.